Heavenly Sword playthrough, walkthrough, whatever you want to call this. I'm just uploading videos, man. I like showing off some of the older games, and there's going to be a couple of other older games coming soon. I'm going to have Wario Land Shake It, which is a Wii game, and it's one of the few Wario-only games, not including WarioWare. I kind of wish they would make more Wario games. I like Wario, but I imagine they don't sell too well, because, come on, who wants to buy a Wario game? The guy likes garlic toothpaste. And we're going to be going on even more inside of Heavenly Sword, trying to get I think we're still trying to rescue Shen. I'm actually not sure what we're doing anymore. At the end of each chapter, there's going to be one of the big bosses that I think we've already pretty much been introduced to. So there's going to be the Fish Lady, I think, is the first real boss. I don't think we've fought her yet. I hope we haven't. If we have, I've completely forgotten about that. Then there's going to be the guy with the swords, and before the guy with the swords on his back, there's going to be Roach, which is King Bohan's son, and then of course King Bohan's going to be the final boss of the game, and I still think he's one of the greatest final bosses ever. If I had to rate final bosses in video games, I'd really put King Bohan up there with probably one of the greatest ever done. I'm trying to, I don't know, games these days don't really do a big thing on final bosses anymore. Some of them have them, like, you know, Japanese RPGs still do that very heavily, Kingdom Hearts 3 of course, but everything else, it's not like there's so much a final boss, it's like there's a final area. There might be a final guy you kill, but they've kind of moved away from that, you know, hey, there's a big guy, you gotta work your way to kill him, and then it's a really hard multi-part fight that takes you forever, and you're like, how many parts are there? There's 5. Oh, I'm playing Okami. This is not Okami, this is Heavenly Sword, and we are starting to not actually be fighting a lot of the more grunt-type enemies. In that last fight there, I don't think there were any of the weakest enemies. They were just mostly the shield guys and a few of the other stronger ones. And again, I got all of them on the ground, as we saw a few seconds ago, and just kind of kill moved them, so I didn't actually have to fight them, which is, again, one of the easier ways to take them out. And I think there's going to be a lot of cinematic in this video. The whole pretty much later half of the video is going to be just cutscene, but there's going to be a lot of gate opening and then walking up this really long stairway, and I think this is the prison where we get to save a couple of... No, this isn't. Is this the prison? I don't know where this is. Let's find out where this is. Okay, that is a prison. Good. I'm not crazy. Alright, so this is where most of our clan members are. And we're going to get some people running down from above, and there's going to be kind of a mini puzzle room in this game. And I've noticed that with every single Ninja Theory game that I've played, so Heavenly Sword and Hellblade and Odyssey to the West, they really like to focus on the combat of the game, and I think that's a very big plus for those guys. Especially Hellblade, I still think is one of the better combats for like a older style swords versus swords gameplay. I really liked Hellblade's combat a lot, but not only do they do combat, they like to throw in these random little puzzles, and they're very linear games. I mean, these games are insanely linear, but there's always just these random, like, what am I supposed to do moments, but this one isn't too bad. It's just more shield throwing onto buttons, and then running around to the other side of the room, and then shield throwing more shields onto more buttons. Not much of a puzzle really, but a little bit more challenging than we've been given so far, which hasn't been very challenging whatsoever. And again, we're just going to be fighting this huge mass of shield-only enemies, and the annoying thing with these guys is that they like to do these blue quick attacks and then the orange heavy attacks. So as I've mentioned before, if you're just not touching any buttons at all, Noriko should block the blue attacks on her own. And when you hear the little ding, you should be able to push triangle to counter them. And I am attempting to do that. Like, it looks like I'm not trying to do any of that, but I am attempting to counter. It just doesn't always work as it should. And there we go, I got a perfect counter. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, even though I feel like I'm pushing it at the exact same time. And even though Noriko is mostly blocking these attacks, I think sometimes they just break through her defense anyway. And it just seems really good to try your best to get these people on the floor so you can stab them through the heart and into the ground. But this isn't going to be too difficult, really, to kill these guys. These ones aren't too bad. Later on, we're going to fight some really, really quick enemies. And those are my least favorite because they are just... they are incredibly annoying. And it's going to be a little bit embarrassing for me because I don't do too well against them. It's a good thing I'm not playing on hell difficulty. Anyway, there's not really a whole lot that's going to go on after this fight is over with. I'm not even sure we do that puzzle part in this video now that I think about it. I think we may have to do it. We may do it in the next video. I don't know. Anyway, because this fight's going to be ending soon, and then the very long cutscene's going to be beginning, so that'll be it for me in this video.
Shen is not with us. Bohan is keeping him somewhere else.
With every age that comes to pass, there is one born to greatness, sent from heaven to shape the world to a divine vision. I am the one. So where's the sword? General Flying Fox, I will choose to believe that the reason you let it slip through your hands is some elaborate attempt at humoring me, and not because you are an incompetent fool.
I am not a fool, sire.
It's a matter of opinion, sweetie.
Did something speak? I can smell something fishy. Like a rotting octopus crawling with slimy maggots.
As opposed to a sexless skull.
Excuse me!
Knives poking out of every orifice.
I said, excuse me!
I like laughing.
Silence!
Is my middle name, sir?
General, understand this. I need protection. There are those who wish to expunge me. How do you do that?
I shall protect you with my best endeavor, sire. And, of course, the right price, sire.
There's something about that man I don't entirely trust. Dear Shin. You see, my sole purpose is to bring order to the disparate tribes of this land. Would you allow your people to suffer, all for the sake of your silly pagan beliefs?
What would you have me do for you? My most sublime king.
Steady. What have I told you about calling me that word? It's bad enough seeing you blot out the sun each day without being reminded that you sprang from my youthful and exuberant loins.
Sorry, Daddy.
Oh, don't be cruel to the little boy. Poor darling.
Roach, go and make our guest a little bit more uncomfortable. Hang him somewhere nice and high so that he can be seen by his devoted daughter.
Yes, Dad.
Just go. All of you just go. Bring it to me, Nariko. Bring me the heavenly sword.
Let us out!